Bojo, kitagijigokwe, penesi kishgok da wapkwet and dishnika zatekendote. My name is Lillian Cook, and I'm from Saging First Nation, Saging in Donji. I'm 44 years old, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2003. And I'm a mother. I have 2 sons. When I was diagnosed, my children were 10 and 14 at the time. I made the decision that I would use traditional medicines, that I would drink the traditional medicines, and I chose not to go the Western way, and I chose not to take the radiation that was offered to me, and trusted in our medicines. I had a full mastectomy on my right breast. I also had my uterus removed and one ovary, and I ended up having a tummy flap and breast reconstruction, so I had that. My own tummy tissue is what they used. They used a part of my stomach, the lower part, and they fixed it in such a way that it would look like a breast. And they saved enough skin that they would form a breast, because they have to remove the whole breast, and they had enough, so I had a good boob. So a nice breast. I was really scared. I thought for sure, what if it spreads? That was my immediate thinking. And if it spreads, where's it gonna go? And if that happens, then what are my chances? And that's where the medicine also kicks in, because I started drinking the medicines immediately, the traditional medicines, and I put my faith in that. I had no choice. When we drink the medicines, there's a whole process to that. You just can't. A lot of people think maybe you just drink the medicine and that's it. But you don't. But that would be abusing it, So we don't take things for granted. Everything is ceremony. Everything is sacred, and everything is special. So there's a process to that. We had to smudge. Like for me, I smudged. I had to do that before I touched the medicine, and present it to the Creator, and talk to the Creator. And also to talk to the medicine, because the medicine has spirit, water has spirit, medicine has spirit. And I was told to be specific with the medicine. The medicine needs to hear your voice. You need to tell the medicine what to do. It knows what to do, but you need to find your own voice. And that was really hard. And I was told, and it can't just come from any old place. It has to come from a place of kindness and love. So I had to do that. Any only place I could think about that was to find that love, because I was in so much pain. Not pain from the aggravated tumor, but the pain inside, what I was going through, that I was going to die, and that I'd never see my sons again. And my sons would be alone without me, without a mother, and I couldn't bear that. So that's what I was going through. I struggled with it. What are people going to think when I take my medicines? What are they going to think because I'm not taking chemo and radiation? Because I've seen women with cancer in the reserve with no hair, wearing their hats. Sometimes it was usually with toques in the summertime, and they're wearing their toques. And I wasn't going to be one of those. And there was just that thing that my children would pay the price for my decision. And so I decided it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to put my faith in this and believe. And I honestly thought I didn't go through everything that I went through throughout my life for a reason. Everything was a reason. And out of 8 children, my biological mother had 8 children. Out of 8 children, my mother gave away 1. I'm not the oldest, I'm not the middle, I was the second youngest, but out of 1. And I realized right there that that was put on my plate for some reason. And now what am I going to do with it? And as painful and as ugly as it was to look at everything about my past, I had no choice but to do that. And I wanted to leave something good for my children if the medicines, I guess if I wasn't chosen to live, you know, that my children would remember their mom in a good, positive way. And I was going to change with what little time that I had with them. That was going to be different. And I was going to be different for the time that I had left. And nothing was going to change that. It is a problem that needs to be addressed, and it is something that I see in my own community. People don't like to talk about cancer. They just don't. They'd rather much talk about other things like alcoholism, addiction. They'd like to talk about other things like the lack of housing, and they like to talk about diabetes, you know, and but they don't want to talk about cancer. It's so frightening. It's so dark. It's so scary. And the fact that they have to do the breast self-exam, my God, like I couldn't even touch myself. I was just by fluke one day I decided to try it. You know, that I discovered that lump, and it's because of you don't touch yourself. You know, my God, that's sinful. And you, for goodness sakes, you never look at yourself naked, you know. And so there was a lot of that. And so I think that's why a lot of people, especially I think in my community, I can't speak about all the First Nations, but in mine, for example, it's very difficult for people to talk about because it's so invasive. Cancer is so invasive, it's so threatening. And the fact that you do have to get naked in front of a doctor, because a lot of them too are residential school survivors. And the last thing they want is to be touched, you know, and they would rather die, you know. And for me, you know, it's just so sad, because for me, what it did for me was I was ashamed. But the minute that I had to see the plastic surgeon, well, there's the backdrop. He comes up with a camera and he's taking pictures of you, and you've got no clothes on from the top, and you have to touch yourself. You have to hold your breast, you have to do this. Oh my God, my face was completely red. And I never felt good about my body to begin with, you know, and then to expose it, you know, it was just like, oh God. So, but it became a ritual. Every time I've seen him, I had to get undressed. I was like, good grief, you know. And then by the time I think I had surgery when I was in the hospital, I was so comfortable that I was flashing everybody my new breast. One of my friends says, look at you, you've just become a flasher. Well, I think it's changed me in a lot of ways. Made me appreciate life, of course. And it's brought a lot of calmness in my life. And my faith, you know, all the time, you know, that, and to believe in yourself. Because I never did. I never believed in my abilities in anything that I could do. So I think that's how it's changed me, and changed me to be a better mom, be an active mom. I'm really active in my boys' lives, both of them. But being diagnosed with cancer, a lot of it is, like I said, you could turn it into a positive if you want, and I chose to do it that way.